For the natural dyer, blue can be quite a challenging colour to achieve, and added onto that, if you want to grow your own dye, then really you've only got a couple of options for a really good blue, and those are plants that contain indigo. If you are in a tropical climate, then indigo, Japanese indigo, is going to grow really, really well for you. If you live in Wales, like I do, then you're probably better off growing something else. And that something else is woad. So in this video, I'm going to talk to you about how to grow woad in a temperate climate. If you're new here, my name is Becca and I'm a hand spinner, dyer and newbie weaver, and you're very welcome to my home in West Wales. So this skein of yarn has been dyed with homegrown woad. And woad is a member of the brassica family or cabbage family. Therefore, if you can grow cabbages, you can grow woad. Now, cabbages and brassicas originate from coastal environments. So the plants, the original wild plants where all brassicas sort of come from, are actually coastal. I'm on the coast in Pembrokeshire, so woad for me is the perfect plant. It's probably going to do better in my climate than a Japanese indigo is going to do. And I also like the history of it because it is the plant that would have traditionally been grown in Wales for producing blue. Woad is what's known as a biennial, meaning it goes from seed to seed in 2 years. You get the best sort of blues, these strong blues, you get from the first year's leaves. You can get a colour from the second year's leaves and the seeds. However, you really want to use the first year's leaves to get that classic woad blue. Because the blue comes from the first year's leaves, then we grow woad from seed. And I have a packet of seeds here. These came from JustSeed in North Wales, and I will link that in the description below. Now I'm going to just take you through how to grow the seeds, and we'll look at some seeds that have already germinated and started to grow on, and I started those back at the end of August, I think, coming into September, can't 100% remember. And then I've also got some plants that are now nearly 2 years old, so I'm going to be able to get seeds from them for the following year. And I'm also going to be able to get a dye from them in the second year, and I'm likely to get sort of pinky shades, maybe a very pale blue. So they are still useful in the second year, but they're not going to give me this really strong colour. If this is your first time planting a dye garden, and I do have a little book to recommend for you, The Dyer's Garden by Rita Buchanan. It is widely available and there is a section on woad. What I will say about this is that in her book, Rita does say that you can sow direct, so that you can prepare a seed bed outside and sow the seeds directly in there. I cannot recommend that in Wales. Obviously, Rita does not have the slug population that I have. So what I like to do is actually start them as seeds in little seed trays, pot them on, and then when they're strong, healthy plants, I then plant them out into the garden. It is going to completely depend on your situation. But for me, if I sow seeds and they pop up little soft little seedlings, the slugs are going to go, thank you very much, yum yum yum, it's dinner time. So by having slightly bigger plants when I plant them out, I can also protect them. So I don't use slug pellets, but I'm going to put wool around them, so waste wool, which slugs don't really like. You can also use coffee grounds. They don't like going over coffee grounds. Some people actually put a strip of copper around plants to stop their slugs. There are lots of different ways of stopping them actually eating your plants. But a really good way is to have a stronger plant in the first place before you plant it. Okay, so I'm just going to turn the camera around and I'll show you how we actually go about planting up our seeds. So in this bucket, I've got some very nice seed compost, and this is a Coir-based compost with added vermiculite. And this came as a block that had been compressed, and I just had to add water to it to actually get it to the state where you can plant in it. And you want it sort of damp, you don't want it sopping wet. So I've got my little seed containers. I'm actually going to start these inside in a propagator. You absolutely don't have to do that. You could just start them on the windowsill. But because it's February and still a bit cold, I want to give them a head start by starting them on a heated propagator. I will show you that in a minute. So there you go. Just fill about, how much is that? Well, we've got about a centimetre gap from the top, and that's what we want. And then we're just going to put the seeds in there. So there are our seeds, and I'm just going to space them out so that when they germinate, I can easily lift them out to pop them on. And I'm just going to put 6 in this container. And then you give them a very, very light covering of compost. You don't want to completely bury them, so just a very light little sprinkling. So they've just got a tiny little bit over them. They're not sort of buried a centimetre deep. It's literally just to cover the top. And then we're going to give them a little sprinkle of water and pop the hat on. Now I'm going to take those back inside and put them on the windowsill propagator. Very important just to label your seeds, because trust me, they can all look the same. So here's my little windowsill propagator. I will leave a link in the description below. It's a very neat little thing. I'm in the conservatory, which is not completely weatherproof, so it's always a little bit damp in here, but it's fine for propagating seeds. And you can see I have already got a few things that are poking their heads up. Those are actually leeks, so nothing to do with the Dyer garden, but those are the Woad plants in there. And then these 2 little empty ones, I'm going to carry on and fill those up with compost and plant the Woad when I finish making this video. So we're in February at the moment, but you can start seeds at the end of the summer, as I said earlier in the video. So we're just going to pop outside again and I'll show you what those little seedlings look like. They germinated. I didn't have the heat on in the propagator in August because it was warm enough in this echoey old conservatory, but they germinated, and then I potted them up into little individual pots, and we'll go outside and have a look at them. I also have the plants that have been in now they'll be in their 2nd year, so we can go and have a look at those as well. But before we go any further, just a few things to remember. Now, they get quite big, so when you're planting them into their final planting position, you really want to have about a foot between plants. That's 30 centimetres between plants. And you can put them in a sort of a diamond pattern. Is quite a good way of getting the most out of your space. Now, once you've harvested the leaves, you can then let them regenerate and you can get more than one harvest off them. And I found that I think I had about 4 ounces, it's about 100 grams of wool that I dyed. I used 250 grams of leaves, and that's the colour, sorry, excuse me down here, and that is the colour that I ended up with. And just bear that in mind, and that was of 9 plants. So you see, in order to get a big harvest, you actually do need quite a lot of plants. I have a whole video on the channel of my dyeing experiments with Woad, which I will link at the end of the video. Right, let's go and have a little look what these plants look like in their various stages. So here we have the plants, and what does the label say? Oh, it was actually the 12th of August that I planted them, and They've been outside all winter, and as the season gets a little warmer and hopefully a little drier, my goodness, we've had some rain, then these are going to get a bit bigger and they'll be ready to plant out. And I'm hoping they're going to be ready in a month's time. And then I will space them, as I said, a foot between plants. So these plants are now in their second year and they're about to throw up flower spikes. So we could cut these and get some colour from them, but I'm going to let them flower so I can collect my own seed. If you have any questions about growing woad or growing other dye plants, then leave a comment below and I'll get back to you with the best answer I can. I can't promise I've grown every different dye plant out there, but I've grown quite a few. And if you would like to see how I got these results, then I've got a video specially for you and I will link it up there.